Before we get into it, do not forget to subscribe and all that good stuff. Or you can send me money. I promise I will not spend it on alcohol or women. No women and no alcohol. I will only spend it at church, nuns, and little league teams. You know, they help out the kids. This first video hits home. It is presented as a joke, but it's true for most men worldwide. Many women do not understand that men's preferences are not set in stone like a woman's preferences. If a man has a good thing, he is not dumb enough to give it up just because she does not meet all of his standards. Some men like legs, some men like butts, and other men like tits. These are just extras or options for a man. A man who likes big tits is not going to reject a woman with A cups just because she does not have big tits. Men never feel like they are settling. We only just say we picked the wrong girl. The next video clip is from the YouTube channel called Alexander Grace. I will put a link to his whole video in the description. He indicates why women can so easily take advantage of men while we are young. It also explains simps. It also indicates why men have to learn to think about ourselves first. Where with women, thinking about themselves first seems to come naturally, and they have to learn to think about others. In the next two video clips, women are describing from their own life experiences why this is true. In one of these video clips, look at the women's faces in the background as the woman describes how she became a submissive wife. Their faces show shame and disgust. The women who have shame on their faces know that they have major issues. The other women believe that this woman is saying something incredibly wrong. This is why men have so many problems with women in the West and not in the East or in Asia. Plus, this explains that because the way men are built, when men are young, we are lonely, and what we use to help with our loneliness. However, as men get older and older, our loneliness goes away. I have not been lonely since I was in my mid-20s. Thus, men's loneliness is nature or biology trying to get men to settle down, find a partner, and start having babies. The 2013 Hollywood movie called Her demonstrated what he is saying. Plus, for the past 20 years, Japan has been dealing with the issues in this movie. It is a funny movie, but in Japan, it is a serious situation. The next video clip is from the YouTube channel called Legion of Men. What he says is true. However, I want to add that when it comes to men who are pookies, ray-rays, scammers, mama boys, or any such men, they also cannot be trusted regarding any advice they provide to other men. These types of men want to see other men fail. It makes them feel smart. It makes them feel good about themselves, even though they are dumb as hell and stupid as shit. These type of men have the same emotional disposition of a low-quality woman, which is why they like to see other men fail. The next video clip explains that good-looking men, who is a good guy, a nice guy, men who are responsible and reliable, are not getting a lot of women. They are experiencing the same problems with women as the average-looking man. The men that are getting most of the women are the pookies, the ray-rays, the bad boys, and any such man. They are the ones who are having most of the babies. 54% of black men have middle-class incomes and no babies. I think about 65% of babies are born into single-mother households, and this includes all races. The last four video clips are from the YouTube channel called Emilywking. I will put a link to her channel in the description. She explains the traits of a high-quality man. A high-quality man is not the same as a high-value man. Just because a man is high value does not mean that he is high quality. It only means that he has money. We need to ask women if they want a high quality man or a high value man. When I see Fresh and Fit ask this question to women on their channel, the women get a confused look on their faces. Here are the video clips.
A rich, young businessman was under pressure from his parents to get married. His parents introduced him to three very suitable women. They were all very beautiful, smart, kind, and well-educated. So to help make up his mind, he decided to test all three and gave them all $1,000 to see how they would spend it. The first woman got a total makeover and told the man, "I spent the money to make myself as beautiful as possible for you." The second woman bought him a big screen TV, golf clubs, and fishing gear, and told the man, "I spent the money on gifts for you to show you you, I will always put your wants and needs before mine. The third woman invested the money. Then, after she tripled the original $1,000, she gave the man back the $1,000, reinvested the $2,000 she had left, and made $100,000. Then she told the man, I invested your money wisely and made 10 times more than what you gave me. I wanted to show you that I will be smart with the future that I will make with you. The man was impressed with all three and knew he had a tough decision to make. The next day, he decided to marry the one with the nicest pair of tits.
You want to find out if the women in your lives have any empathy for men, if they actually think about what the male experience is like, or if they just think about themselves. You ask them this question. Ask them, if a man is single and lonely, what's his biggest pain? Yeah? What causes him the most suffering? Now, she might say, well, it's the fact that nobody loves him. He wants to be loved, but he has no partner. Now, if she answers that way, she is half right, right? But she says that. She gives that specific answer because she is a woman and that's her experience. That's what would cause her as a woman pain, because women want to be loved, and when they're single, it hurts them that no one is there and loving them. Now, of course, men want to be loved too. All humans do. But the answer that women never give, because they don't understand this about men, is that wanting to be loved is only half of the equation. The other half that causes him lots of pain and suffering is that he doesn't have somebody to love. Yeah? There is something so tragic about a chef who cooks delicious meals that nobody eats. There's something so sad about a musician who writes amazing songs that nobody wants to listen to. And there's something really depressing about a man who has so much love to give, and yet nobody wants to receive his love. As much as it is a human need to be loved, equally it is a human need to love, to have somebody be the recipient of your love. Men who are single and lonely experience that pain acutely. You know, they have that feeling, that thought that they have love to share, but nobody wants to receive it. It hurts. And this is actually the reason why sugar babies exist. It's not just about sex. Of course not. If it was, then people would just go and see, 30-minute hookers. But women have figured out that men have this need beyond just sexual gratification to actually love women, to provide for them, to shower them with gifts and affection. And it's very easy for women to become sugar babies, to play that role, because receiving love from men, that comes naturally to women. That's normal for them. That feels safe and familiar. To have this strong masculine man love and adore them, they love that. They absolutely revel in that sort of attention. What doesn't come naturally to women is to give love to men. Really what's going on here is that evolution has created men and women differently, Like, think of how men used to take care of women back in caveman days. He'd be hunting food, making shelters, protecting her against would-be attackers. And this is not some, miserable chore he's performing. He's happy to do it because they're partners, they're a team. And she's doing her part because she's pregnant or she's breastfeeding an infant or whatever it might be. So evolution incentivized these different instincts, these different priorities in both the genders. When a man wants a girlfriend, it's not just so that he can ruthlessly exploit her and drain her of all of her love, take it into himself. That's not what's going on. He wants to give her love. He's desperate to. That's where that saying comes from. He has so much love to give. The way that some women feel when they see babies, that urge to take care of something, to shower it with love and, to sort of spoil it and protect it, that is how single men often feel around women. They want to take care of them. They want to shower them with love and affection. And it hurts to have all of that love and to have nobody to give it to. It's actually an important part of feeling fulfilled as a man, of being validated as a man who's worthy in your masculinity, to actually find a woman who wants to receive your love. So many single guys feel abnormal, like something is missing in their lives, something's wrong with them, until they have a girlfriend, somebody they can love. Then they feel normal, like they're having the normal human experience. It's then that they feel like a real man. And I want women to understand that this is not something small and insignificant that we can just brush aside. This is a serious need that men have. Some men are even resorting to buying dolls, like these life-sized replicas of women, and they're having relationships. Some of these guys have full-on imaginary relationships with these dolls. There are lots of men who, instead of receiving a favor from a woman, they would rather do a favor from a woman and then receive gratitude for that favor. And in a sense, as a man, that gratitude is actually an important way that we receive love. It's how we feel valued and validated in our worth and our masculinity. And so to any women out there, who's listening to this, if your boyfriend wants to love you, please let him, and please show him your gratitude. I promise it's going to mean a lot to him.
The thing about good men that a lot of women don't realize is that they are oftentimes overthinkers, because someone who overthinks is also someone who overloves. It's why these are the men that get your door. They carry things in from the car. They buy you flowers, and they even get upset when they're about to do something for you, but you do it first. But they're also the men that are hurt when you don't text them back, and are frustrated when you show really low effort in conversation. Because what these men truly desire is reciprocation, because it demonstrates that you care about him, so that he's not just left to overthink. And they are the men that constantly ask you what you need of them, and they rely on you being able to communicate your needs, because it is extremely frustrating to good men when they are expected to read your mind, instead of just getting a straightforward answer. This is also why you don't want to play games with this kind of man, because those types of relationship games that he wants no part in, he can spot them from a mile away.
10 years ago, I started off as a boss babe. All I wanted to do was work. All I cared about was money. I thought that my status depended on my monetary value, and it took a lot of work.
How did your husband convert you from the boss babe mentality to the submissive wife mentality? What made the light bulb go off?
Breaking down the pride. You have to kill the self. You have to kill what you think is the most important thing, which is yourself. And you have to start doing things for others and the people that you love. So once I had identified that pride is the killer of all good things, it started being very clear to me that I didn't want to be submissive, because I cared about myself, and what I got out of the relationship was the most important thing, rather than how can I give to the other person as much as I can without getting anything back.
Ooh, that's gold right there.
I gotta always learn how to talk to the king in you. I don't care how mad I get. And I learned that in therapy, that for me to manifest the man that I wanted in my life, I had to learn how to always speak to him like the man I wanted in my life, even when I'm mad at him.
Teach that shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Say it again.
And I had to learn how to speak to the man that I wanted in my life all the time. I needed to speak to him as that
king.
man.
Ooh.
Right? To where when we
even when he acting like a court jester?
Yes.
Okay.
Even when we get upset with each other, there are rules. We don't hit below the belt. Like, it's a lot of things that, and a lot of growing that I've done, but we've all got to get to that place.
Yeah.
Trails and thanks. Biggest difference I've seen is dudes will listen to older women because they've lived a life. Women view older women as less than them because they have less options in life. It's sad. Well, women are always in competition with one another. You see, a 40-year-old man can look at a 20-year-old man, see himself in the man, and is willing to give him advice, wants to see him succeed, because that guy's not competition with him. You've lived his life. You're in a different realm. You're looking for different things. You could probably provide a whole different lifestyle to a woman. You guys aren't competing directly. And you want to see your fellow man succeed because you've been through the hardships of being a man in general. You understand the difficulty, the hard work you put in, the heartbreak, the sleepless nights, the aching bones, all that stuff to get to where you are today. You understand that to become the man you became at 40 was a journey in life. Nothing was handed to you. And you know the hard road ahead for that young man at 20. That's why men are willing to impart knowledge and wisdom so freely amongst their younger peers. Now, when a woman at 40 is looking at a 20-year-old, because men will pick the 20-year-old, and they're dating the same pool of men, it's always a competition. A younger woman has absolutely no incentive to give younger women good information and knowledge. Why would you impart wisdom that's beneficial to a younger woman who's angling for the same man you are? It's a threat.
I know a lot of guys who are very average and they don't have any problem finding women to sleep with or date or anything. It's just knowing who's on your level.
But it's finding.
Yeah, I have across platforms probably over 800,000 followers that are all single men. That's why they follow me for dating advice. And I get thousands of messages every day from attractive guys that cannot get a date. And the messages are sad. Girls are not aware of the crisis out there that men are facing in the dating world. I don't think you can speak on it because you don't know about it. You don't see them. You have no idea how sad it is. I cry about it when I read the messages.
You mentioned that you have a lot of attractive guys who cannot get a date. Why would you say that is? You can just be honest. This is an important conversation that a lot of people can learn from.
I think the feminism movement has completely beat down men.
These are the 3 things that a man wants to see on a first date in order to want a second date. And let me just say that I am in full support of all 3 of these. Number 1 is that he finds you attractive. Now, unlike what social media will tell you, a man will find a woman attractive even if she's not a supermodel, and even if she doesn't have 2 inches of makeup on her skin. He kind of just wants her to be cute. Number 2, she's interesting enough to talk to. She can actually hold a good conversation with him. Number 3, I think most men would agree that this is the most important one. She's warm and kind. This is so observable in how she treats the waitstaff and how appreciative she is for him taking her out on the date. And really, all these 3 things go to show is that men are simple, but they're also looking for the most important basic thing.
The big question that I recommend you never ask a man. So, what are we? The moment that you ask this question, you lower yourself in worth and value in his eyes. You disrespected yourself in his eyes. So the attraction, gone.
I just think this is playing games. When my man and I started dating 3 years ago, I was the one that led the conversation on exclusivity. He did not suddenly lose attraction towards me. If anything, it was quite the opposite because we felt like we were both choosing each other and we were really excited for the relationship. But my biggest point that I want to make is that pretty early on when you're getting to know each other, the worst thing that you can do is avoid talking about what you really want. Because good men that want a real relationship, they want to feel desired by you. That's why if you're the one that brings this up, it is actually really attractive to that type of man. If he's there for you, even when it's inconvenient to him, and he considers you in making decisions, big or small, that man is husband material.
An 18-year-old girl tells her mom that she has missed her period for 2 months. Very worried, the mother goes to the chemist and buys a pregnancy kit. The test result shows that the girl is pregnant. Shouting, cursing, and crying, the mother says, "Who was the pig that did this to you? I want to know." The girl picks up the phone and makes a call. Half an hour later, a Ferrari stops in front of their house. A mature and distinguished man with gray hair, impeccably dressed in a very expensive suit, steps out of it and enters the house. He sits in the living room with the father, the mother, and the girl, and tells them, "Your daughter has informed me of the problem. However, I can't marry her because of my personal family situation, but I'll take charge. If a girl is born, I will bequeath her 2 retail stores, a townhouse, a beach villa, and a $1 million bank account. If a boy is born, my legacy will be a couple of factories and a $2 million bank account. However, if there is a miscarriage, what do you suggest I do?" At this point, the father, who had remained silent, places a hand firmly on the man's shoulder and tells him, "Then you try again."